Hey everybody, what's going on? The Montreal Canadiens are back in the headlines, even with the Eastern and Western Conference Finals going on right now. Martin St. Louis was signed to a 3-year contract extension as the head coach of the Montreal Canadiens, and there's a lot to like about the direction this club is taking moving forward. Now, if you look at the record the Montreal Canadiens put together with Dominic Ducharme as head coach compared to Martin St. Louis as head coach, they are night and day. And even though St. Louis might not be that impressive either, there was so much of a different environment going on around the club that made it so much more worthwhile with him as the head coach. I think player development is something that the Montreal Canadiens are currently focusing a ton on, and rightfully so. Over the last decade, under the Marc Bergevin era, player development just hasn't been at a strong point. Drafting has been fine, but the development of the players just hasn't been up to par, and that's a big area that the Montreal Canadiens need to look at moving forward, and I think they have that in their head coach now with Martin St. Louis. If you look at what Martin St. Louis said during his press conference after signing a 3-year extension, you know that wins and losses won't be as important as the development of players, and that should be music to Habs fans' ears because you need to focus on that development, especially when you have a new wave of young talent incoming. Whoever the Montreal Canadiens decide to select with that first overall pick, should it be Shane Wright, you want a coach like St. Louis there who knows how to develop talent at the NHL level, and he proved that last year, and he's going to continue focusing on that as soon as this year and the next year and the year after that. And that's a big positive for this Montreal Canadiens franchise moving forward. They needed a coach like that instead of a veteran guy that's focused more on tactical systems and not development. They needed this type of coach because that's the direction they're currently headed in. This is going to be a young team mixed with a few veterans here and there, but the results are going to be based on how the development of these young players comes to fruition, and St. Louis should be the perfect bench boss to be able to get the Montreal Canadiens back to a respectable playoff team. It's going to be interesting to see once a few years pass in this contract for St. Louis how patient fans are, because this is going to be a journey for the Montreal Canadiens. It's not going to happen in 1 or 2 seasons. You have to figure that the next wave of competitiveness for this Habs team will come in 2 to 3 seasons from now, where a lot of the young talent, whether it's Shane Wright, Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, Alexander Romanov, Kaden Guhle, all those young players will be starting to hit the prime of their career, and that's where you're going to need to capitalize on. And the next 1 to 2 years will be massively important for this team moving forward in terms of how they set themselves up for the future. And if St. Louis can continue to do a good job at that, like we saw him do last season, I think the Montreal Canadiens are headed in a really positive direction, and they should continue that under St. Louis for at least the next 5 seasons. I think it's also going to be interesting to see how St. Louis approaches things when wins and losses actually start to matter. Of course, that's not going to be next season, but when those games start to matter, how is he going to adjust as a head coach? I think a lot of that's going to be telling, especially with the type of assistants and company he surrounds himself with. Apparently, this is going to be the staff that he's going to bring into training camp, but there's always the outside chance that Luke Richardson does get a head coaching job at the NHL level, so you have to look for that as a possibility as well, that there could be some replacements coming on his assistant coaching staff. That's it for me today from Cook's Corner. As always, let me know in the comment section down below what you think of Martin St. Louis signing a 3-year extension with the Montreal Canadiens. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button to this channel and like this video as well. I'm Zach Cook. We'll see you later.